So yesterday on the channel, we covered the Bruins signing of Mitchell Miller. I'm not going to really go into the details because I covered it in depth yesterday. I'll link that in the upper right-hand corner. But essentially, Mitchell Miller was a fairly highly rated NHL prospect who was found to have engaged in some fairly horrible abuse at 14 years old. And the Bruins took a lot of flack for signing Miller, who was initially drafted by the Coyotes, who would actually renounce their pick. So the controversy got worse today. For one, the family of Miller's victims continued to speak out, saying that he showed no effort to apologize for the things that happened. And alongside other players who have spoken up, which we'll get to in a second, we've now heard from the big man himself, Gary Bettman. In a press conference today, Bettman said that Mitchell Miller would be not eligible to play in the NHL. He said, and I quote, "He's not coming into the NHL. He's not eligible at this point to come into the NHL. I can't tell you that he'll ever be eligible to come into the NHL. In fact, at some point, they think they want him to play in the NHL, and I'm not sure they're anywhere close to that point. We're going to have to clear him and his eligibility, and it'll be based on all the information that we get firsthand at the time." And I think that's actually the perfect response. One of the main sort of topics of conversation on this point is, when should somebody be forgiven for actions? Mitchell Miller did what he did when he was 14 years old. He's now in his 20s. As I said in a prior video, I'm not really comfortable with holding somebody accountable for what they did when they were 14 for the rest of their life. However, that comes with the caveat that personal growth needs to be shown. I believe everyone can and does grow from where they were when they were 14. The question is, did you grow the right way? Making things worse for the Bruins was the fact that members of the organization today were a little less tight-lipped in how they felt. Bergeron said, and I quote, "We're a team built with character and character people. What he did is unacceptable. We don't stand by that. In this locker room, we are all about inclusion, diversity, respect. Those are keywords and core values we have." He also focused on change, saying that if Miller's the same person he was when he was 14, he's not accepted. Foligno says, "I'm not going to lie. I don't think any guy was too happy because of how proud we are to see that this is a group that cares a lot about ourselves and how we treat people. I think this is the way to handle it." However, Gary Bettman needs to be honest here. Mitchell Miller is not the only person in the NHL who has done something reprehensible. Google 2003 World Juniors Halifax. Anyway, those are my thoughts. This situation continues to get worse to the Bruins. I bet you the AHL comes out and says something similar, and this signing will end up being not only for naught, but ultimately only ending with bad publicity. You really think this is something the Bruins would coordinate, at least on a PR perspective, with the NHL? And of course, the victims' families. There is a right way to do this. There's absolutely a right way to do this. This clearly was not it. Springing on everyone.